All right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, Cancerians, hey, it is Saturday. So, it is time for a Cancerian video. And we are going to take a look at what is the divine timing bringing in for Cancer, or what might be the right time for Cancer. The door has opened to the bird cage. There is an opportunity to really free oneself from something toxic, free oneself from, a toxic environment, a toxic relationship, a toxic anything, any stresses. It almost says that Cancer has learned something. Hi, Violet, Crabby Girl 76. So good to see you. Um, it says that Cancer has seen something. They have gathered enough information. They have recognized and learned something, and they have the data that they need to free themselves from something. Like, let's say this is someone who's fairly toxic, and it's like, you know what? I've watched them and I've identified this is the stuff that they're doing, and I know that I don't like it, so I can walk away from this. I have enough, it's not me being judgy. I have enough info to say, yeah, I don't like that. I see where their toxicity is, and I'm not going to participate or let them, just visit their toxicity upon me. It could also be that I recognize where some of my own fears have been. And now that I've identified that, gathered the information on it, now I can say that I see it. Hi, guys. Bellum B, Brown Eyed Girl. Oh, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. Empress Unicorn 111. Again, so great to hang out with you tonight. We got the Page of Coins. It is in the reverse. Okay, so hang on. This is like if Cancer is saying it's what divine timing has brought into me is the awareness, the knowledge, and I don't even need to speak about it. I don't even need to say anything. I've observed it with my own two eyes. I don't need to argue with somebody. I don't need to display it if it was my own toxicity. I don't need to, put it on display. I can simply make change. The Tower. I am simply free. Today is the day I do something different. Whether it's, the way I talk to myself is going to be nicer from here on out, or whether it's, sometimes we get into a toxic pattern, and it could be something simple or something big. I'll use myself as an example. I am a complete and utter coffee addict. It is not good for me to drink so much coffee. I love coffee, love the smell of it. And I mean, when I'm really drinking coffee, I mean, that would be my preferred beverage all day, nonstop. I cannot do that, but I sure think about it all the time. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm a true coffee addict. And I have to, wean myself off of it. And I go on stints where I don't have any at all, or I go to just like, 1 cup a day. Or yeah, I'm back to like 2.5 cups a day, but that's pretty good for me. I could do better, but that kind of thing, like, you don't have to announce it, right? If you're just going to work on something in yourself and say, this is not something I should keep doing, and I know it. So here's the thing, recognizing it is enough to just put it into action. Sometimes we don't need to say it out loud. We just need to recognize that we're on a coffee bender and we need to get back off. And it's like, okay, every time you want to sip something, it needs to be tea, it needs to be water, it needs to be something else. I'm just using that as something simple because, look, yeah, we can say it's simple, big deal, it's coffee. Yeah, but I'm genuinely addicted to coffee. And especially when I know it's not good for me and it's super expensive. If you're doing the fancier ones, like, that's no good. I have to rein it in. So those, even that can be a big breakthrough, right? And I just use that because not everything has to be earth shaking. I know we do have 2 major arcana here, but I still want to make sure that this is very broad. It's a negative behavior or someone who has brought some negativity into Cancerian's life, and they're free of this because they've seen it, and they don't need to argue with that person, or they don't need to argue with themselves. They can just make the change, and immediately they'll get results, is what this says. Immediately life will get better. They'll have more money when they stop wasting it on coffee. 10 of Pentacles is here, so I'm going to say it could be better money. They will feel better. And not bloated from all the acid in the coffee that they were drinking. Like those types of things, we can have immediate positive impacts when we stop doing something negative. If we stop dealing with somebody who stresses us out, and we've identified, like, I don't want to be around them anymore. They always say something hurtful. They always say something mean. I've listened to them. I see how they treat other people. I know I've been the recipient of it too. They're not going to change. I'm not going to have to argue with them. I'm not going to tell them and then have them get defensive. I'm just going to go ahead and move along, free myself. Maybe I stop going to that particular event where they're always there. And immediately I have free time. I have peace of mind. Whatever changes when we free ourselves from something toxic, immediately life gets better. Well, sure, because we're not losing our energy, hemorrhaging our energy to somebody that's been kind of an energy vampire or something that's been taking our energy. So we got this Page of Cups upright. This is kind of sweet because it might even be that like somebody who's like going to give themselves like, I'm sorry I wasn't nicer to me. I'm sorry that I wasn't nicer to us, the royal we, the me, myself, and I. This kind of feels like Cancer is going to be able to understand, maybe I put up with some stuff I shouldn't have for far too long. I think lots of times that's the case, especially if we don't want to either judge somebody harsh, or if, there's something about our own behavior that we needed to make a change on, or a fear or something that we had to face. I definitely feel like when it comes to judging somebody and not wanting to misjudge someone, we give people a lot of leeway. We let them, behave in a certain way for a really long time before we finally go, hey, I don't like that. And I kind of feel like that's what the storyline is. It's a stronger story to me, is it was someone Cancer dealt with for way too long, gave them way too many chances because they really could see the writing on the wall, but they didn't want to misjudge somebody. And now finally they're like, I can be free of this person and I don't have to feel guilty that I don't want to be around them and feel like, what if I'm a judgy, terrible person? I think this is Cancer saying, oh my God, and the amount of relief I have, the amount of happiness that I have. Now I just feel like, poor little me, why didn't I protect us better? Why didn't I make this decision for me, myself, and I a long time ago? I don't see this person getting any kind of an apology from that toxic person. I see Cancer giving themselves the apology. And then I see Cancer ready to get kind of excited and possibly go out on some dates and possibly go pursue things that they're interested in and possibly have a lot more time, money, and energy, feel sexy again. Look, this is starting to shape up like maybe this was a person who made Cancer feel unattractive. Maybe, and because we do have this person with no clothes on and they're like crunching down to like hide their unclothed self. Hopefully nobody ever is made to feel that way. Like, that is so awful. Everybody should be able to look at themselves in the mirror and know that they are a beautiful person. All of our human bodies, different sizes, different shapes, different everything, and yet we're all exactly the same at the same time. Nobody should ever walk around and feel unattractive if that's what this was about. That makes me all fired up, and now I want to go mouth off to whoever this person was who said something rude to Cancer. I'm sure it's better that Cancer has handled it in this gracious way that they have, which is to simply cut this person out of their life and to realize if somebody was cutting Cancer down, saying, even, sometimes there's people that I call the wasps, the ones who give us a sting. They give us what I call an anti-compliment. They'll pretend to give you a compliment, but it's wrapped in, like something nice. It's actually mean. I feel like that could have been something that Cancerian was the recipient of. And I'm so glad that they finally were like, you know what, that person's not accidentally saying things and I'm misinterpreting it. They're actually saying rude things to me to make me feel insecure. I don't have to let them make me feel that way. But I also know that I don't want to talk to somebody who's intentionally doing something like that. So I'm freeing myself. And you know what? I'm damn sexy. You know what? I am hot. You know what? And that could have been at the core of everything. This could be somebody who kept saying slightly rude, insulting things to Cancer because they were jealous of Cancer, because Cancer is really attractive. I mean, this can happen in, any gender, any, sometimes guys get just as jealous as women do. Guys get jealous of other guys. They start, trash talking them nonstop, trying to make them feel ugly or something, because really they're like, you're so much better at that than I am. You drive a better car than I do. So let me find some feature about you and tease you relentlessly about it, simply to try to, ruin your self-confidence because you can probably get more girls or guys than I can, like it could be something mean-spirited like that happened. There's a lot of different ways that this could have played out, but the net result is still Cancer is finally out of that. scenario, and their life immediately gets better. They feel better about themselves. And I think that their like happiness and their energy is restored. And so too is like their sexiness, whether this is masculine or feminine, their sexiness is back. Somebody could have like really a very strong like spiritual self, but they could also be physically very strong. With this ace of coins, let me put it this way: I don't think Cancer is ever going to do any like body hating, body shaming. I think they know better now. I think it's really hard when sometimes it's like, this person has a way of eroding my self-confidence, but I'm not even sure how they're doing it. That is the insidious nature of the devil energy, though. And even somebody who is jealous, and their jealousy gets worse and worse and worse, and all of that speaks of somebody who really did not want Cancer to feel powerful and sexy and capable and desirable. Well, thank God it didn't work. So during this, maybe particularly around this full moon, that might be what Cancer is realizing is somebody else's shadow and the way it was impacting their own. And they're finally breaking free of it, because this is somebody standing in the full glorious sunlight. This is like Cancer is saying, hey, if I feel like getting super muscle bound, going to the gym a lot, masculine or feminine, I love my strong body, I love my muscles. Or you know what, I'm going to look at myself and my skills not as something, especially if there were particular things that they were being torn down over. I think Cancerian is actually able to finally look in the mirror and say, I see why they attacked me for those things. Those are some of my best traits. This person was straight up jealous. Sometimes the very thing that somebody will come at you for is exactly the thing that you're the best at. And that's why they want to strip that away from you, because that's where the core of their jealousy is. And it's like, if only, if this is right now, we have a masculine, maybe it's like Cancerian has like a natural tendency to be really like powerfully built, and they build muscles really fast, and somebody who's jealous of their physique, so they start attacking that person, specifically, make fun of their whatever bulky body. And it's like, are you kidding me? This is like straight up power. Why would you make fun of power? Because they crave the same power that they don't have. It's a great storyline on being able to really look at, why does somebody try to tear somebody down? Jealousy is almost always at the core of it, I always think. But what do I know? But I like the fact that it didn't work. I love the fact that it didn't work. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Really great to see everybody. Oh, sweet. That's awesome. Okay, so let me see if I can pronounce this properly. Chilpancingo is a Spanish translation of the Nahuatl word, and it means palace of wasps. The name refers to the city in south central Mexico, the capital of the state of Guerrero. I did not know that. Wasps have smooth stingers that they can withdraw and use again, whereas honeybees have barbed stingers that become embedded in the skin, causing the bee's death. I did know that part. Wasps, man, they just keep coming at you too. Aries and I made some wasps very angry last summer, and oh my gosh, Aries, I couldn't figure out what was happening, and neither could he, and we were both so confused, and we were both like jumping around, and I look over, my dog's going bananas, I'm going nuts, and it was like, when we both like wound up running. It was pretty cute. We had to escape. GOSC1OP, sorry guys, I cannot talk tonight. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Steel Cocky, nice to see you. 1981. Is that you? Are you 1981? I'm 1980. So I just turned 45. But 80s babies, I'm telling you, we had a good time, didn't we? Empress Unicorn 111. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Thanks again, Violet and Krabby Girl, Bellum, Brown Eyed Girl. So delighted to see all of you. You guys have a good morning. GOSC1OP, you're a tea girl. I love tea also. It seems like I love all the things that are like warm beverages. I like chai. I like it all. But coffee has been like just the scent of coffee. If I could, I've always said if I could maybe just wear a little satchel around my neck that had coffee beans in it, that might be enough for me because I just love the odor of it. But tea is amazing. You guys, thanks again. Oh, Empress Unicorn, April baby, 1981. Awesome. I love knowing that it does seem like there's a lot of us in like that same kind of general like age bracket, life bracket. I think that's probably, I mean, I have younger watchers and older, more mature age watchers as well. But I think that there's like a lot of like 80s references, and I notice most everybody in the comments gets. Of course, the 80s are kind of smack dab in the middle for like younger and older groups. Like we all kind of still, some of the 80s stuff is still popular amongst the younger crowds, and then some of the 80s stuff is still, you know, that was a great time for music and arts and stuff. So I think there's a lot of like happy crossover, you know, for that whole like decade. But you guys, so good to see you. Right back at you, babe. All right, you guys, lots of love. I'll see you again later. Tammy Secord, wonderful to see you. Sweet, yes. All right, bye for right now.